Joker is a film about morality, judgment, and of course, the golden rule. It definitely speaks about how we treat each other as a society. Joker follows a 3-act structure, but it never really feels like that to the audience. It feels more like a roller coaster that has a lot of twists and turns, just like the game of life. This all ties into the catchphrase of the character Murray Franklin in the motifs of the film, "That's life." The film begins at an incredibly low point, builds up, and then breaks down again. Concerning Joker's mental illness and the way society treats him, the story moves further down this hole until his mental delusions bring him back up. Joker is grounded in reality for one moment and then suddenly in the clouds, which may have to do with his sporadic nature of when he does and does not take his medication. And I absolutely love the way his narcissism is shown and highlighted by his entrance on the Murray Franklin show. It's really a great touch. These medications have always suppressed the way Joker feels and prevents him from being himself. The less of the medication he takes, the audience can see Joker's ambitions come to life as he has no one to suppress these feelings. This film is incredibly relatable as there are always so many things in the way of being who you want to be, whether it is societal views, values, or your own embarrassment. Thelonious Monk once said, "A genius is the one most like himself," and that certainly rings true for Joker. Joker is a very sincere person. He is often speaking openly about his passions and aspirations, and this is one of the most vulnerable positions to be in as a human. When these sincere thoughts of Joker's come to life in front of other people at seemingly inappropriate times, they view him as a misfit. And this runs parallel with the world we live in today. In a time when we have an infinite amount of ways to distract ourselves, we shy away from introspection and self-discovery. Because of that, characters in the film really don't seem to understand Joker. This is what makes the film so heartbreaking. The audience is able to see what the on-screen characters cannot. And this is known as dramatic irony, and it really makes for tugging on the audience's heartstrings. Dramatic irony is prominent throughout all of Shakespeare's work. Like, for example, in Romeo and Juliet, the audience knows that Juliet isn't really dead, but obviously Romeo doesn't, and we are able to see him make all of his mistakes with pretty fatal consequences. Joker is constantly craving warmth, recognition, and attention because of trauma from his childhood. So much so that in the lowest points of his life, we can see Joker daydreaming about being a guest on Murray Franklin's late night show, which is also Joker's idol. Joker is constantly seeking approval. It's one of the only things that he wishes for. And eventually, even his psyche can't provide this for him, and we see him confronted with his loneliness. This sheds light on the human fallacy of love and how we're so tempted to find it, even in the wrong places. Because of his cravings and ambitions, Joker falls prey to this and becomes the spearhead of a political movement he didn't attempt to create. Although he now has the warmth, attention, and recognition he has so desperately been longing for. This highlights that outside influences, such as society and forces beyond control like genetics, have a huge impact on an individual. One thing that I wanted to note about this movie is the marketing really breaks the fourth wall. Joker is sold as if we are going to dissect the psychology of an insane person, like we are going to get an inside look at a killer's mind. But by the time you're in the seats, you go, Gotham society has this freakish view of Joker, and that's the view I had because that's the view my society has. Whoa. The entire film humanizes and showcases the capacity for love that Joker holds, but his society sees him almost like an untouchable in the caste system. And that is the exact way the film was marketed to us as an audience. Joker and his story is very akin to the everyman, is essentially what I'm trying to say. Overall, Joker is an extreme example of be your own person and don't be afraid to go against the grain. Something I really love from this movie is how much Joker rehearsed his entrance for the late night show. He was always trying his best to copy how others have been introduced as an attempt to blend in. But by the time the curtains go up, Joker is able to make a grand entrance that embodies who he is. And that's pretty amazing. I feel this film was a brilliant satire on contemporary manners, if that wasn't wordy enough for you. And after watching the film, all I can really say is, c'est la vie.